you.
Okay, so today I'll be talking about suicide rates in men. So how many of you have actually researched or looked into suicide rates in general? Okay, not that many. So the Addams family actually came out with the story of how their son, he actually committed suicide, and he left a note, and he wrote out some of the reasons why he committed suicide and some of the reasons where he felt very isolated, like he was a burden on other people's lives, and he just didn't feel like he fit in anywhere, so he thought that was his only choice. And about 40,000 people commit suicide a year, and 80% of those people are men. So men populate most of the suicides throughout the year. And there's a suicide every 15 minutes a day, so that's a lot of people. And so with the suicide rates rising throughout the year, 80% of them being men, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention states that with scientific research, suicide is important for us to know because you never know when it can happen to someone close to you or someone you know. So first I'll talk about suicide rates in men, and then I'll talk about the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and the outcome if we donate and become more educated on suicide. So the suicide rates in men. Joner from Lonely at the Top 2018 stated that males kill themselves at a 4 times higher rate than women, and that's so much higher than women because men, they usually end up going through with it when the women don't, because men use more weapons and go through with it more than women. And the most vulnerable ages are ages 20 to 24, being 5.4 times more than women. And Gunnell from the British Medical Journal 2013 stated that there are many risk factors that go into suicide, like depression, isolation, and even unemployment. So between the ages 65 to 85, there's an 18 times higher rate for men to commit suicide than women. So as you can see, men populate most of the people committing suicide due to that they go through with it more than women, and they use more weapons. So after talking about the suicide rates in men, I'll talk about the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So Seifel from the American Suicide Prevention stated that their foundation is dedicated to understanding and preventing suicide through scientific research. So since they are very educated on the subject, it is a very good foundation to go and get educated from. And Gebbia, the CEO of American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, stated that their main goal is to save lives and bring hope to any of those that were affected by suicide or have attempted suicide in the past and survived. And they're very educated on mental health by engaging in scientific research. So after talking about the suicide rates in men and the American Foundation Suicide Prevention, I'll talk about the outcome if we donate and become more educated on suicide. So the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention stated that in just this year, 50 new chapters were built in 50 states, educating all the communities on suicide and how we can help prevent it and recognize it in people we know, or even in ourselves if we have the thought. And Health Service Supports 2018 also stated that with this foundation, they are expected to save more than 20,000 lives through 2025, which is a very good start with the rates so high throughout the year. And they invested in 17 new research foundations, resulting in a donation of $4.3 million. So it is a very good foundation because they have all the things they need to help and educate others. So overall, I talked about the suicide rates in men, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the outcome if we donate and become more educated on suicide. So with the suicide rates rising throughout the year, 80% of them being men, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention states that with scientific research, it is important for us to know because you never know what can happen to someone close to you or someone you know in general. And if you want to learn more, you can go to Netflix and watch the movie Not Alone. It's a documentary on a family dealing with suicide. Thank you.
All right.